it takes a moment to load up. All right. So good day. I'm super excited to introduce, I hope I pronounced it right, Elle Hari?
Elle Hari.
Elle Hari. Okay. And I actually am really excited to chat with her today and share her with you all because she's a twin flame coach and she herself has a pretty amazing journey. And as some of you may know, I launched this channel discussing twin flames, and now I'm bringing it a little more mainstream. And anyway, I'm super excited to talk to her because this is what she specializes in. So welcome to Messages from the Universe. Ellie, hello.
Hi.
Sorry.
That's okay. Thanks for having me here. I'm so excited to be here.
So, so I want to start with just if you could explain to us what is a twin flame for those that don't know what we're talking about.
Sure. So twin flames are actually the divine truth of creation. It's how we're all created. Everyone has and is a twin flame. And what it is it's one soul sharing two physical bodies. So, or look at it the other way, it's two people sharing the same soul. And so we are all souls, right? So in order to understand this, you have to first embrace the fact that we're all souls. We aren't our bodies, we aren't our minds, we're souls. And our souls are not from this 3D physical world. Our souls are from 5D, which is the fifth dimension. This is the third dimension. And the energetic paradigm of the third dimension is different than the energetic paradigm of the fifth dimension. In the fifth dimension, everything just is. It's just calmness, it's peace, it just is. Here in the third dimension, everything, it's one of duality and opposite. So everything has an opposite, right? So there's up and down, hot and cold, in and out, good and bad, light and dark, all of that. And so that's a different energy. And so our soul being energy, when it incarnated here, when we were born, it had to assimilate energetically into the energetic paradigm of the third dimension, which again is one of opposites and duality. So the soul needs to make two opposites of itself in order to even incarnate here. One of those opposites is within one twin flame's physical body. The other opposite is within the other body of the twin flame, of the other twin flame. And in energetic terms, which the soul's energy, opposites are called polarities. So there's one polarity in one twin flame and the other polarity in the other twin flame.
So I'm going to stop you there. Sure. Okay. Slow your roll, killer.
Sorry, I'm talking too fast.
Because I know what you're talking about. But I want to kind of ask the question of like, how do we know that we're from fifth density? Aren't we all from God and source? Like, so can you explain that?
Well, source is also of the fifth dimension, pretty much. I mean, it created all the dimensions, I guess, but you know, God, source, whatever is in that same dimension. It's in the same realm of you know, where the souls come from. Our soul is a spark, a direct spark of source energy. So next to spark, so source energy, our soul, your soul, my soul, everyone's soul is the most powerful energy that exists. That's why we are creators in our essence, and we truly are creating even our realities. And like we're the strongest energy. The strongest energy, what that is actually love. It's love energy. And like they saying, love conquers all. It is true. Love does conquer all. And energetically, it is the most powerful energy that exists. And that's who we are.
So, yeah, I love that. the love part, God is love, right?
Yeah.
So, so then how, like, where does this knowledge come from? Like, how come we're not taught this?
I was taught it by my amazing teacher who I found when I was in the throes of devastation, when I began my twin flame journey and didn't know what it was. And she saved my life. And she taught me well, first she helped me along my twin flame journey to get out of the despair and magnetize my twin flame back and all of that. But then I still worked with her for, a while after that, just to learn about, the ascension process and, the whole grand scheme of the picture of what we're doing here, why we're here, why we have this twin flame journey, why we even incarnate here, where we come from. And so I learned it from her. She channeled archangels. So she must have learned it from them. I don't know. I can't say, but she's pretty well versed in what's actually going on. So that's how I know it.
So I kind of cut you off on the description of a twin flame, but I think we get the theory is that we're one soul, right? And that we were split in the third dimension incarnated into two separate souls because we're in a dualistic reality. Is that a good recap?
It's sort of right. We're not split into two separate souls. We're not even split at all. The soul can't split, right? It's an energetic field. Think of it as a cloud of energy, or you can think of it as, a frequency of energy, however you want to look at it, but energy can't be broken, especially the soul. The soul is the most powerful energy there is. Nothing can break it or permeate it. So it doesn't split. What happens is it's mostly always, the soul is transdimensional. So it's everywhere all at once. We're omnipresent as a soul. So the soul's still in the fifth dimension, even as it does incarnate here. Like part of it dips down into the third dimension. I don't know if it's really down. It's just, wherever it is, but comes into the third dimension. And at that point, it just, it inhabits two physical bodies, but those two physical bodies are still part of the same energetic field that they share, which is their soul. So the soul never splits.
So how do we get into two separate bodies then?
The soul can just do it. If you look at it, it's like, okay, it's this one energetic field and it just has like two separate bodies, like as a part of it, attached to it, say, at the part of it that's in the 3D. And only when it's in 3D.
So, with what's going on right now, then, I mean, the idea was that we're moving into fifth density now anyway, right? That we're moving into this great awakening that's going on the planet.
Sure.
So as we move into fifth density, will twin flames stay in two separate bodies?
So, okay, so what happens is what's going on? What's going on in the planet? Yes, they're having so many more people are awakening. They're awakening to their ascension process, actually, because the whole point of this lifetime and all of our previous lifetimes has been eventually for us to reach ascension. And like the twin flame journey is a part of the ascension process. And ascension just means that you are, to be polarized, to have duality, to be an opposite, that is all the energy of the third dimension, and it's fear-based energy. Fear-based energy makes it appear and seem like you're not one with something, right? So it makes it seem like things are opposite and not the same, or there's like distinct boundaries between things or distinct shapes, right? That's not really what it is. Everything is energy. Everything, everyone, everything. And, there's different varying degrees of the wave of the strength and of those energies, but everything's energy. And so everything is connected through energy because every energetic wave is interacting with every other energetic wave that exists. And if you look at the planet from like an energetic viewpoint, you'd see it's just like a matrix or spider web of all, of everyone's energies and everything's energies, like, mingling.
Okay, so I'm just going to get down and dirty here then, right? So with that being said, how can we use that knowledge, assuming it's correct? How can we use that knowledge with what's going on in the planet today? Because globally, we're seeing a major upheaval of duality, right? You've got straight up satanic stuff going down on the planet right now. Mm-hmm. And it's global. It's happening worldwide. I mean, look at the lockdowns in Australia. And so if we're all connected, how can we, which I do believe we are all connected, it's all frequency, how can we transform this?
Well, I think that's kind of what everything that's happening is doing. It's starting the transformation. It's shaking things up, right? First of all, it's playing on people's fear. It's all based on fear, which again is fear-based energy, which is the third dimension. And that's what causes the duality and the appearance that we're all separate and not one. But with this fear,
I don't want to believe that I'm connected to these demons. Like, are you sure we're connected to
I mean, the only person you are exactly the same as, you're not the same as people. The only person you're in the entire history of the cosmos, you're the same as is your twin flame. Okay, that's it. That's the only other person, and they're not even another being. They are your beings. That's why you're the same.
Yeah, but they're just in a different meat suit than you are.
Sure, but everything else, everyone else out there, the only reason we're connected is because we're always emitting our energetic frequency. Right. And so is everything and everyone else. So out there, not within our bodies, but out there, like our energies are all tangoing, dancing with each other's. Right. And that's just how it is. That's what happens with energy. You know, it finds like energy and other energetic frequencies that it resonates with, and it attracts it. That's the law of attraction. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. And so that's how we're connected, is just like our energy resonates with theirs in some degree. And it can be any varying amounts of degrees, you know, just in the way we have varying amounts of ways we relate with people. You know, we have family members, we have friends, we have romantic partners, we have pets, even pets, you know, like, and that's what a soulmate is. All those, they're all various kinds of soulmates.
So my puppy dogs could be my soulmates too.
Of course they are. Of course.
Yeah, I love my puppy dogs.
See, there you go. Your soulmates.
So then if the twin flame is part of our own, is our soul, then one of the misnomers that you talk about in your book, what's the name of your book again?
Twin Flames Exposed.
Twin Flames Exposed. So one of the misnomers is that we're here to do a mission.
Yeah. So, in this lifetime. Okay. And this is for
people. I'm on a freaking mission, girl. Like,
well, no. Right. We all have a purpose. Yes.
Yeah. We all have a purpose, right?
Right. But there's this kind of myth out there about people when they're on a twin flame journey. Oh, I need to get back with my twin flame because we have this whole mission we have to do. We're going to come together. We're going to be in union. And that means, you know, we're going to have all these superpowers and, you know, heal the world and do all this other stuff. And we're going to be given some mission that we have to, like, you know, fulfill.
I love that idea though.
No, it's a great idea. And actually that is what will happen with the divine. It's called the, divine sacred reunion with twin flames, which is when both twin flames reach ascension. And that's probably not going to happen in this lifetime, but, you know, both twin flames reach ascension for that sacred mission to happen, and for all their powers and their healing powers to, you know, emanate out and heal others within the 1,200 mile radius of them, or whatever it is, you know, like that will happen. They will have the mission and all of that, but it's going to be when they both reach ascension. Right now, when people just want to get back together physically with their twin flames, which can happen, you can have a physical relationship with your twin flame, but that's not the divine sacred twin flame reunion where they would be given this mission, right? That's just not yet. But people are confusing the two. They're thinking, you know, people on twin flame journey get, you know, they feel like they're failing the universe because they're not with their twin flame. And, oh no, we have to do this mission and it's all my fault. Like I'm missing it up. Twin flame.
So I think that it sounds like what happens is people get caught up in what they think is this fairy tale. So they start creating this version of, oh, well, and I've seen this happen where people are like, oh, this is my twin flame. And so now I have to go do this, and I have to go wake him up, and I got to go do this to him. Like, and he's got to do that and this. And so yeah, right. Like that's part of where you're going with this, is that it's not really about the other person even, right?
Not at all. Right. It's about yourself. And the twin flame has a role. The whole point of the twin flame journey is to love yourself more and to love yourself eventually completely, which would be ascension, but it's a part of the ascension process. So you're just loving yourself more by alchemizing your fear-based energy regarding yourself and your twin flame, because your twin flame is you. And the role the twin flame plays is they show you that fear-based energy that you need to alchemize into love. And, so that's how they say the twin flame is the mirror, but they're not really a mirror. Like people think also, they misconstrue it to mean, oh, if the twin flame is the mirror, then whatever they're doing, saying, thinking, feeling, that's like mirroring back what I must be having to do, say, think, feel, or something, right? But it has nothing to do with anything on the physical level. This is a journey of the soul. It takes place on the level of the soul. So how the twin flame is showing you yourself, mirroring you, is actually they come in and your fear-based energy reacts. And if you know what to do, you know how to identify it, you know where to find it and see it, then that is it's there for you to acknowledge, identify, accept, understand, and then love it. Actually, you don't judge it, you just accept it. And that alchemizes it into love.
So not judge them or not judge your own feeling?
Not judge anything, not judge them or your own feeling, because it's all you, right?
Right.
And so it's all the same energy. But see, we have this denied energetic shadow part of ourselves. And this isn't the shadow self that a lot of other things I think talk about. This is just, we all have, we're duality. Our soul had to make two polar opposites of itself. So one is within one twin flame, the other in the other twin flame. And they manifest physically as a push-pull. So one twin flame is a push energy, the other twin flame is a pull energy. So one's pushing while the other one's pulling at the exact same time, right? Which causes all the chaos and havoc when they want to be physically together, and they can't because these energies are causing them to do the opposite of that.
Yeah. So is that's not the runner chaser thing then?
I mean, it might look physically like you can, that's what's going on. One could look like they're running and chasing. It doesn't happen. I mean, if somebody like sort of emphatically starts chasing another person, then you instinctively want to run away, right? Even at yeah, but it kind of happens. So first of all, yes, I agree, of course. But I think most people don't do it to the, I don't know. I didn't. I thought I was crazy and losing my mind. I didn't understand why I was just so obsessed with my twin flame. And the thing is, but it kind of happens in tandem as well. It's like they pull a little and then you push a little, but they pull and pull. So it's happening in tandem. It's not like you're just out pushing and then all of a sudden they're going to like pull. It's happening kind of at the same time. And as I look back, I could kind of come towards you and then they pull away like that, right? Yeah. So it's not like just someone being like a creeper psycho and someone else running away from that. I mean, yes, any sane person would run away from that. And no sane person would just do that. It's all about the energy. But here's another thing, the energy, even though the energy is acting as a push-pull, the push twin flame can still physically pull away or block or ignore the pull twin flame. But they're doing it with a focus on trying to get a reaction out of that pull twin flame, right? So the energy is still going towards the twin flame, even though physically they might be acting like they're not. Does that resonate? So yeah. It's not always a runner chaser physical dynamic. So how did you get into this? Like how, and tell us your story of your experience with this. Yeah. Okay. So 8 years ago, well, first of all, I was kind of newly divorced, single mom, my little preschool kids. I was having some fun. I met this guy, younger than me, a lot younger than me. It's very common with twin flames, by the way. And we just had some fun. Like how much younger? 16 and a half years. Okay. Yeah. Yes, he's a fine young thing. Yeah. My friends used to joke, "Oh, you got yourself a hot manny there," but whatever, because I didn't feel it. But that's not what he was. Anyway, so we together this summer, right? Because women live longer than men anyway. So, right. Yeah. All right. So we age better as well. We age better, and we age better as well. No offense to the other, but we totally do. Okay. Yeah. So he was. So we were together for like a summer. It was like 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I didn't know what was going on, but our push pull, we had them. I never felt so close with someone, all of that. Like we complete each other's sentences. He felt like home. Then all of a sudden, like from my point of view at the time, because I didn't know any better, like he just bailed. He left, he ghosted, blocked me, moved in with someone else. And I was devastated, and it didn't make any sense because I'm not like that. I was never like that with any other relationship, and especially a 6 week one with some, I'd be like, whatever, that sucks, but move on. I couldn't move on. I couldn't stop focusing on him. I actually was a puddle on the floor for 6 months. I couldn't function. I couldn't be a mom to my kids. I remember just taking them to preschool every day and like coming back and laying on the floor and just crying for like 10 hours or 8 hours until their day was over. I had to go pick them up again. That's all I would do. I was also a lawyer. I couldn't function on my law practice. It was just, I was a mess. It was a hot mess. And during that time, I consulted 13 different spiritual advisors, psychics, a voodoo mambo. At first I wanted, spellcasters. At first I wanted like someone to bring him back to me. Yeah. Then it got so crazy.
You're like in a desperation mode, like, oh my God, what happened to this?
I didn't know what I was doing. And then it got to the point where I just didn't recognize. I was going so crazy. I was like, I couldn't see. I'm like, I hired the voodoo mambo. I'm like, please cut the cord. And she didn't understand it. She's like, I don't understand. She's like, I can't cut this cord. It's like, it's your cord. Right. And she just couldn't do it. And she's like, I've never happened to me before. And she was like, well, world renowned for cutting the cord. Anyway, but this was 8 years ago. And this was all like psychics and spiritual advisors and people in the spiritual world. And they, one of them mentioned twin flames to me. It wasn't yet even common in mainstream for spiritual circles until finally 6 months in on the floor, I called like a 13th like psychic. It was a psychic call-in line. And this lady mentioned twin flames. First I'd heard of it. So then I go and I Google twin flames. Up come two things on Google. And now it's like, pages and pages, 2 things. The top one was this lady in Australia named Leora, who I went right on and I bought her sessions on her website, had one with her that night. And she became my teacher.
Wait, you went to a psychic hotline and then she sent you somewhere else to find her, or what happened?
She didn't send me. No, she just mentioned twin flames. And that's the first I had heard of it. So then I went to Google and I Googled twin flames, and my teacher was the first list and only one of like 2 listings that came up. And so right there. And that's what happened. And so, yes, she not only saved my life and taught me what to do, but, educated me like for 2 years. And then she passed on suddenly. And then, I knew other people had been going through this, and, now they were left without, they wouldn't be able to get help from her. And so that's when I wrote Twin Flames Exposed. I self-published it, put it on Amazon. And from there, people just started finding me like, please help me, please help me. And I didn't think I could help. I didn't channel the archangels like my teacher did, but, they say you don't find your purpose finds you. And that's what happened,
So how did you come to resolution within yourself? So like what happened next then?
So I met my teacher. I started working with her. Within 2 weeks, I was functioning again. Within a month, I was happy. I was having fun. I was good with myself.
So
I was whole and complete. I'm sorry.
So stop there if you could. Like, so what was it that helped you to shift from being in this total devastated puddle on the floor to 2 weeks later being able to start functioning normally again?
Yes.
What was the
learning about twin flames, learning about that I was my soul and what the energy was doing. I wasn't crazy, but the energy was doing. Yeah, that helped a lot, because my teacher, she worked with other people, and she's like, you're not crazy, this is what it is. And, she had been on a twin flame journey before. But, and just really understanding that push-pull dynamic and how to stop my push, because if you are the push twin flame and you stop pushing your energy out, automatically the pull twin flame stops pulling. Because for polarity, by definition, you need 2. And if you don't have one polarity, the push, there's going to be no pull. So it basically neutralizes the soul. It neutralizes the shared energetic field that the twin flames share, allowing the soul to bring its 2 physical bodies together again without the push-pull energies keeping them physically apart.
So how do you maintain that over time?
Yeah, it's a process. But that's the point. It's supposed to be a process. The point of the journey is not to be with your twin flame like that. Yes, that's usually the catalyst. Yes, it can happen, and it could be a bonus, cherry on the top. But the point of the journey is to see that push energy within yourself, to see all the parts of yourself. And remember, that's the denied energetic part of yourself that you're meant to see. And it's to love yourself. And you can't love yourself until you know yourself, understand yourself, and accept yourself without judgment. And that's every part of yourself, including this part of yourself that you wouldn't see without your twin flame having been there to show it to you.
Yeah, they're projecting back to you where your wounds are, where your traumas are, right? The stuff you need to.
Well, when they come in, your fear-based energy reacts. And so that's how they show you. It's within you. It's not anything they're doing that's going to show you anything.
No, but I'm saying it triggers, right? And this can happen with soulmates as well, but it's much more intense with a twin flame, right? Whereas a soulmate or a twin flame can trigger something within you that could have been a wounded part of yourself, that it's really about you healing that part.
Yes, it's about you. Well, actually, triggers are interesting too, because that is that's everyone
Maybe
has
I'm using the wrong word for it, but
no, it's the right word. It is. We all, yes, but that reaction or trigger or whatever you want to call it, we have to our twin flame or anybody else or anything else. That's all a result of our fear-based energy. Our fear-based energy reacts. And totally. That's what causes us to feel like crap or to get angry or, even to be, overwhelmed with like excitement or, expectation or anything. That's all fear-based energy, which is fine and good and great. But, the point of the twin flame journey is we need to stop that fear-based energy from existing. Basically, we alchemize it. We transmute it into love. We balance it out is what we call it in my company, so that, we don't have it there as much anymore, but it is a process. So we do it for twin flame comes in, we see it, we do it. Then the twin flame, leaves again because when they come in, our fear-based energy pushes up, they leave again, but then they come back in once we balance, and then our fear-based energy comes up again, then they leave again, and then, you balance again, but they don't always have to keep leaving. And it's not as painful, after the first time. It's not like that. It's like you can still be friends, but you don't see each other for a little while or something, but, it's much more peaceful, open type of a relating experience. And then once you're mostly balanced regarding and by mostly, I mean, I only say mostly, you have to be totally, but you can't, there's always the chance that it could wake back up your fear-based energy because, until we reach ascension, we still always have fear-based energy with other people and other things and other situations. But, regarding your twin flame.
So can't we transcend fear in this lifetime though? And I think, aren't we like, isn't that part of it? Why shouldn't we be able to ascend in this lifetime?
I mean, we could. I mean, we have to alchemize. What ascension is fearlessness. It's total love. It's being without.
Yeah, fearless.
Yeah, it is. It's fearless, which is love, right? Because love and
so listen. So I am gonna like reel this into like what's going on in the world today, right? And I don't know your position on it, but I'm going to be pretty out there about it. We started off with face diapers, and that to me was 100% fear-based. Okay, well, you're doing this, and it was masked in an idea of this being spiritual, like, right, you're a good Christian or a good spiritual person, or you're just a kind-hearted person by putting a mask on to protect others around you. And now there's all this science to prove that it's actually not healthy for you to be wearing those things for very long. And anyway, this is not meant to be a political statement, but it does circle back into, I believe that no matter how you get there, whether it's a twin flame journey or any other way to get to your own version of ascension, right? To getting to the love, like that's what this great awakening is about and what's happening around us on the planet. Not everybody's been fortunate enough to meet a twin flame, right? To be able to go ahead. What, have we all met them?
Everyone's crossed paths with their twin flames in every lifetime. Yes, you probably know your twin flame. There's billions of people out there are probably married to their twin flames as we speak. Next door.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They just don't, and it doesn't matter. The label doesn't matter. The only time, why we even have to call it anything is because once the twin flame journey happens, which only is determined when the soul is ready, the soul just decides it's going to recognize itself within that other body of the twin flame, and that activates the polarities. But until then, twin flames can relate with each other like anybody else, right? So, I mean, yes, everyone probably knows their twin flame, for sure.
So it gets activated once they recognize them as their twin flame?
Once the soul has soul recognition. This happens on the deepest subconscious level. No one's aware when it happens. No one feels when it happens. It's not like some aha moment or you looked in each other.
What about false twins?
Not a thing. There's no false.
It's not a thing. So would you say that if you've got a telepathic connection with somebody unexplainably and you have visions about them before you actually meet them, are you to assume that that's your twin flame?
No, not at all. That would not be your twin flame. Because
If you've had visions about them before you met them?
I mean, no, I don't know. I don't know about vision. Oh, I mean, I guess you could. I mean, why not? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a twin flame. No, you can have visions about anyone before you meet them. And twin flames don't see, that's another kind of misconception. Twin flames,
Cool. Let's explore it.
what? Twin flames don't communicate telepathically. Why? Because they don't have to, because they're connected by something way stronger that transcends the mind, which is the soul. Twin flames are through here and here. That's where they're connected. They're not connected through
Yeah.
mind, they're connected through personality. That none of that's the same. None of that's
Okay,
true.
so maybe we're speaking the same language. So being able to, I mean, I think that we have the ability to do this with anyone, but specifically with a twin flame that could be 300, 1,500 miles away, and you know what they're feeling, you know what they're thinking, you already know.
I mean, some people can do that with anyone. You know what I mean? You can do that with
That's what
anyone.
I'm saying. I mean, I suppose you could have that. I mean, a mother with her child, right? Or
And supposedly
Yeah.
actual twins, like twin siblings that are not twin flames ever, but they're never twin flames. But they supposedly are very good at that. There's documented cases where they can feel if one twin flame's in pain on the other end of the country than they are and stuff, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So we can do that with any soulmate, really. It doesn't have to be a twin flame for that to happen.
so back to where I was going is, so there's a lot of people in the world that have gone into fear. And so because of that, they've are slowly losing their sovereignty, slowly losing their freedoms.
Yes.
And so I'm looking at this on a grander scale, beyond the scope of twin flames, is how, if these people awaken, like, how do they also go through this ascension process?
Well,
Do you follow
okay.
where I'm going with that?
Yes. So there's a big opportunity, and I'm not saying anyone messed up or didn't catch the opportunity, but I'm just saying, for example, one example of this would be, okay, so ascension basically is collapsing duality. It's collapsing the duality within ourselves. And remember, duality is fear, but duality also is we're separate from anything or whatever. So for example, with the lockdowns where people had to like isolate or quarantine, and be alone, when you love yourself, you want to be with yourself. And
You're good with that, right?
You're good with it. Yeah, you're totally good. Right. And like, my students, we were all good with that. We loved it. And like, there's so many people though out there that if you notice they mental health issues, they couldn't be, it's hard for people to be alone, but that's because they don't love themselves. And I'm not saying that to be mean or facetious or anything. I'm just saying on the energetic level, they feel separate.
They just haven't gotten to that point where, Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a big opportunity to what's been going on, is to take that opportunity to maybe get to love yourself and want to be with yourself, but in terms of other things, I mean, the duality, the fear has caused people to lose freedoms yes, but it's also kind of shaken up things. Don't you think? Like, I don't know. I feel like more consciousness and awareness has been brought to certain things, people aren't putting up with a lot of shit, like, I mean, they're quitting their jobs, like record numbers, and, they're realizing that, hey, I don't need to put up with this. Why should I live like this? Life's too short maybe to go to a job that pays peanuts for, awful
Or
work.
that I'm just not happy getting up every day on the treadmill, completely asleep as a rat on the wheel. So definitely. I'm just thinking about, then that just brings us to the next thing of where, some people are in a position now where they think it's not a choice, where they have to inject something into their body, and they don't think it's a choice. So they're doing it because they want to keep a job. And those who are choosing not to, I mean, what a huge empowered stance. I mean, that's got to be a pretty courageous decision for some people.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that there has to be a decision like that, right? I feel like, I don't know, but I mean, because making a decision, doing it or not doing it, having a job or not having a job, that is duality. That's making people choose a side.
Yeah.
And so this whole pandemic, which, I mean, it was a virus, fine, but then everything, all the aftermath, everything surrounding it, all the craziness was bred of just fear of this virus and this fear-based energy, which is causing even more duality every step of the way. You can just see how it's causing it.
Yeah.
But, so there's two ways, to look at it. You can look at it as, well, people are coming into their own, people are feeling empowered, people are taking their power back, people are, realizing what they truly want and what resonates with them, and going for that, which is amazing. That is totally a part of loving yourself, which is great. And sticking up for themselves against the fear. But then there's people who succumb to the fear, so you have the two things.
So it's kind of interesting though, to connect the two, that the people that have been on this just an example, right? I mean, other people have been on their own journeys, whatever route they've taken, but those of us that have been on a twin flame journey, we had to get right within ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In that way. I mean, I had the same, when the whole thing started happening, I'm like, something about this doesn't sound right. Something about this doesn't smell right.
Right. It's something different for sure.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, I have a friend of mine that, within the last few months was telling me how difficult that time was. And I had no idea. I mean, she was like self-medicating and, incredible, like went into a deep depression. And I've been doing this kind of internal work for so long that it just didn't even dawn on me. I mean, I guess I kind of I knew about it like peripherally, right? But I wouldn't have thought that somebody within my circle, like, to me, I just enjoyed it more than anything too. Like, wow, how cool. Like, I'm going to meditate and I can be creative and I have time. Like,
well, you are not very, there's not many people who are where you are with that when they are
that position. So
no, it is usually very, very hard, very, very depressing. People have come in the complete utmost despair and confusion.
So when somebody comes to you, what's your typical client? What is that? How do they find you? Number one.
Well, their soul leads them to us when they're ready.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. But no, I mean, we're on a lot of social media. Our YouTube channel, we put out a lot of content on there just to educate people with it. So that's really pretty active, and our Instagram is very active. And then, I mean, I don't know, I guess it's just kind of word of mouth too, as well.
What was your website again, though, if somebody wanted to find you?
It's bewithyourtwinflame.com. And that's also our YouTube channel, and it's at Be With Your Twin Flame. That is our Instagram. So they're all the same. And now we have a podcast, Twin Flame Truth.
You're doing a podcast too?
Yes. Twin Flame.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So that's been reaching a lot of people in other countries and stuff somehow. So that's really good.
Like you said, I mean, it's going to reach the right people. And I think that there's different ways to get to the top of the mountain, right? I'm probably quoting somebody on accident there,
sounds good.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So anyway, so, all right. So they come to you, because their soul's drawn to you. And, are they typically on the twin flame journey and just devastated because something didn't happen, or?
Yeah, typically they're on a twin flame journey. They're devastated because either one of two things happened. Their twin flame ghosted, bailed, blocked, moved on, seemingly moved on to someone else. You can't move on from your own soul, but that's what it looks like. Right. Or they're stuck in this back and forth, push pull relating dynamic where their twin flame keeps coming and going, which is just as painful as them just going and disappearing.
Yeah, because now it's reopening the wound every time, right?
Right. Yeah. And so that's the two relating dynamics that happen. And people come to us because, yes, they're in despair, they're confused why this happened, but really the thing that's really getting most people, and it's interesting. So when I started like teaching people, coaching them like about 4 years ago. And since then, everyone used to come to us, yes, in despair, on the floor in pain, wanting their twin flame back, just crying, wanting their twin flame back. Now it's kind of shifted. And I think this has to do with, the level of human consciousness is constantly rising, right? And now it's shifting to where people, they're not coming in just, yeah, they would like to be their twin flames again, but that's not really, they're not pining away for their twin flames as much. It's just that they can't, it's the obsessive thoughts focused on their twin flame that are driving them crazy, and they can't focus on anything else, and that really is, it's crazy because those obsessive thoughts that push fear-based energy, it can't focus on anything else, and it controls your mind because it's fear-based. So it can't focus on anything else besides your twin flame, the pull twin flame. And the pull twin flame can focus anywhere else but on the push twin flame. So that's the interesting thing about it.
So how do you disengage your thoughts from that?
Well, okay, so there's this whole process we have, but first of all, we need to make sure everyone's intention is, they have to do what we teach them with the intention, the conscious intention of not wanting to get that twin flame, not wanting to care about what the physical form of the twin flame is doing, saying, thinking, feeling, because actually they have to do this. You have to approach this journey from the level of the soul, because it's a journey of the soul. And so really anything in the physical world that you see about your twin flame or hear about your twin flame or anything is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that push-pull energy. And so in order to see that and work with that, you can't do that from the physical senses. It's not a physical journey. So that's the first thing we do is set your intention to just focus on your energy, not worry about what your twin flame is doing, saying, thinking, feeling, or with whom or not, right? That's irrelevant, because once you balance out the energy, they're going to be magnetized back in. Your soul will bring them back in. So, we tell people not to worry about that. And then they have to really be present. Presence is the cornerstone, the foundation of all spiritual practice. And, because when you're present, you're
Say that again. What's the cornerstone of all spiritual practice?
I'm sorry, being present. Being out of your mind, as Eckhart Tolle would say, in the now.
Being here right now. Yeah, I thought that was a good question to ask. What is it?
Yeah. So, and it is because when you're present, there's no fear. Fear cannot exist in the present. It only exists in the past or the future. So if you notice, anytime you have any kind of like crazy thoughts or anything, that's always focused on something in the past or focused on something that could happen in the future. That's anxiety. The other one's depression, right? And sadness. So, that's really what it is. But when you're present, there's no fear because you're out of your mind, and by out of your mind, I don't mean crazy. You're not in your mind, like when you meditate, you can watch your thoughts float by. And that's really the state you want to try to be in before you can even try to even work with the push pull soul energy of your soul, because you can't do it when you're in it. You have to be outside of it to see it. So that's really
I think that again, it just applies so greatly into I just want to keep looking at the global perspective right now, right? That we can get sucked into these narratives, and it's good to have an idea, superficial, like enough to know. But when we get kind of sucked in, we're not being present, right?
Right. Yeah, because we're getting sucked in by fear. And they know this. The news knows this. Media knows this. Politicians know it. Fear is addictive. It's an addictive energy. And so, people play on your fear. Even, religion has done it since the beginning of religion. It's played on people's fear. They put the fear of God into people, it's a way.
I'm a God lover, and I still don't really understand like that. Using that term for it to me seems a little, right? A little intense. The fear of God, right?
Yeah. And there's nothing to fear but fear itself, for real. We're only within ourselves. And that's the point of it. We have our own fear-based energy. And if we could just alchemize it, transmute it, dissipate it, and it gets absorbed by love, that's the universal law of the perpetual transmutation of energy, that lower vibration energies, which fear is, get, transmuted into the higher vibration energy, which is love. And, the more we do that, the more we see it, the more we alchemize it, the less fear we have and the more love we have. And that's where we're rising up out of the fear-based energy. And that's ascension. Ascension is when we will rise completely out of it and into love.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's actually is that simple to know that you said it a little bit differently, but I actually think like, and I'll put a little different spin on it, that where love is, fear isn't, right? Where God is, fear, you can't have both in the same, because there are different places on the spectrum, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
whenever you catch yourself getting frustrated, fearful, any of those lower vibrations, it's actually, if you're just aware enough to just tune in and connect into love in your heart. So
Or yeah, and exactly. And a way to do that, because if you're in the throes of like some panic attack or panicky thought, or you're anxious or stressed or depressed,
yeah,
it's hard to just turn that off and tune into
yeah,
your heart, right?
yeah.
So but and we never want to say you repress those feelings. You always want to feel your feelings. But here's what we teach. So when you're feeling a feeling, and cry, hopefully alone, private, don't you ever want to dump it on anybody else. But if you have to scream into a pillow, punch a pillow, do something, but notice the thoughts that come in, the thought forms that come in while you are expressing those, while you're crying, while you're screaming, while you're punching that pillow. What thought forms are coming in? You'll notice that whatever the thought forms are, you're thinking that that thought is a quote unquote bad thing, right? And so anytime, any feeling that we have is a result of a belief in our thoughts. So we're either believing that our thoughts are bad or our thoughts are good. That's all. So if we think a thought is bad, we're going to feel bad. We think a thought is good, we're going to feel good. And that's just how it is. So in order to dissipate the bad feelings, and this works pretty quickly within like 20 minutes, when you're feeling the feelings, when you're crying, when you're yelling, pay attention to what the thoughts are in your mind, and just be like, okay, well, I'm believing that whatever that thought is, that's a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. And I can tell you why it's a bad thing. And this takes some blind faith. But it's not a bad thing, because we are our souls, and our souls are perfect, miraculous, beautiful, everything we desire, their love, and our souls are orchestrating everything in our lives, everything. And so our souls can't mess up. So everything's happening for a reason. And our souls know this. And even if our mind can't figure out what that reason is, it doesn't have to, because it can't even conceive of what our soul is capable of, because it's so limited. So, if you just have some blind faith and know, okay, well, this happened, but there must be a reason for this, because my soul orchestrated it. And, that's another way you love yourself. You trust and believe in yourself as a soul, and you trust and believe in what your soul is doing. So
yeah, that's super awesome. I like that. And so I kind of want to recap that real quick, as a piece of that. So one of the most powerful pieces of that was that if we judge it for a good or a bad thought, we immediately go into a feeling about that, right? If we judge something as a bad thought or a bad experience, then we're immediately like taking ourselves down that rabbit hole, so to speak. So it's important to try to actually stay somewhat neutral then.
Yes, it's all about balance, neutrality.
Yeah.
That's what duality, to stop the duality, you have to be balanced, centered, balanced, neutral. It's all the same, right? In the middle. And here, I'll give your viewers an example of how, if we think something's bad, that's just because we're judging it that way through our filters. It's the thing itself, the thought itself, nothing is bad or good. Everything is neutral around us. It's just what the filters and the judgments our fear-based energy chooses to put on this. So for example, okay, you have the bride on her wedding day and it starts to rain, right? And so she might think, oh, that's a bad thing. She doesn't have her wedding, beautiful planned, whatever. But you have the farmer on the other side of town who it's been a drought and his crops have been dying. And he's like, yes, it's rain. So the rain is not a bad thing. The rain is just neutral. It's all in how we perceive it. And two different people can perceive the same exact thing completely differently. And so that just shows that we are just making up through the filters in our minds, our prejudgments of our fear-based energy of something being good or bad, when really it's neutral. It's neither.
So I had this really powerful thought and idea about that, and then I lost it again. So
no, I always do that. That always happens to me too.
It's been an intense day. Oh, I know. Okay, so all right. So this is actually kind of intense. So have you ever noticed that? So one of the tools that I like to use, I actually like to check myself to make sure it's actually my own thought. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is twofold. So if you're very connected to someone, and I don't think that it's just a twin flame, it could be somebody else's thought.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever experienced that or you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to.
So now I think that that's even more important because of the AI technology and putting things into our bodies these days and things like that. Apparently there's some technology that has the ability to do that. And by the way, we already had that technology in the frequencies anyway, in the through frequencies. But that's an important piece to this, because I've caught myself where I'm having a negative or a bad, a downward vibrational thought. And just by checking myself going, wait a minute, is that really my thought? Then the thought just gets released. So maybe you can speak to that better than I can, but.
I mean, I really can't. We work with people, on a twin flame journey, just their thoughts are about those are their, but
there's so much on the other person.
I will say this. For even before AI, it's called brainwashing, right? So many people have thoughts and beliefs that aren't their own. We all do anyway, from our families, from our upbringings, and
well, there's that.
Yeah. But part of it all ties in though. It all ties into, busting through all of those. They're all limitations. It's all limiting.
Yeah, let's break through all of those. Come on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Changing patterns and everything, behaviors, beliefs.
Yeah. So what else is important about that I might have missed? Oh, I know. Here's some good stuff. Like this is so I'm back to what I was earlier. You don't need to heal yourself to clear karma, right? Like I think that that's a common misconception in the spiritual arena, that even to have a soulmate, that you have to clear all your karma. And especially even more so with the twin flame journey, right? That you have to heal everything in order to be in a relationship.
Right. The karma thing, that's kind of goes against the spirituality in a way, because in my opinion, we were just talked about how, it's all about being present. When you reach ascension, you're going to be present 100% of the time. We can't do that yet until we reach ascension. But, I guess the goal, if you would, like right now, or where we are, wherever we are is perfect, is to try to be present as much and as often as possible when we can remind ourselves to do so, or be conscious or aware to do so, right? And if you're worried about past karma, that's focused on the past. So that's not even being present. That's bringing in the past, So I think that's, that's not, we don't even go there. That's not even necessarily the twin flame journey anyway. So, and, there's no really karma, because remember, your soul's orchestrating everything. So there's not really karma, right? Your soul planned it all.
Right. And well, while you're on the twin flame journey, things will arise within you anyway, right? Isn't that part of the process? And
exactly.
I think that it's really a catalyst for your evolution.
Yes, that's exactly right. So every time that your twin flame comes in and you see more of your fear-based energy react to that, each time you see that, that's another, we call it peeling through the layers of the onion, where it's another layer of yourself. And, things come in and you'll see behavioral patterns with family, with friends, and other things come in, your fears about other things like money. Indecisiveness is also fear. So anything you're not sure about, and all of that, it comes up in when you least expect it, various ways. So many of our students, they realize, having gone through the twin flame journey, they realize, they've been sexually abused when they were younger and stuff. And we've had quite a few people, and they didn't know that before. They didn't realize they were repressing.
Yeah, it was like a suppressed memory. Yeah, that's funny. I was just talking about that earlier with Justin on a different show. He on Cannabis and Combat is his show, but that's
an oxymoron if I've ever heard one.
A little bit. So so anyway, yeah. So So anyway, it's all an opportunity, right? And it's also how we want to frame everything that's going on. Like what if we can reframe, what can we learn from this, or what's the good in this? What's the opportunity in this? Then that's always really can be helpful. So
yeah, and to know that, it's all you. There's nothing about you that you need to repress or judge, or, just accept it all. Accept it without judgment. Not you have to accept the person, the abuser, or anything like that. But I mean, eventually to reach ascension, you will have to. But for just with your own internal journey right now, just to accept that, okay, it's okay. It's okay that I felt, hurt. It's okay that, I had those feelings. It's okay that, there's nothing for me to be ashamed of or feel guilty about or anything like that. It's all okay. It's, I'm perfect. To really just love that inner child of yourself, sort of, accept them without judgment. That's love. It's acceptance without judgment, really.
Yeah. So, so taking that, up leveling that. So I use a technique called the compassion key. And one of the things that I have found, and that's just, I also do consciousness work with people, and in a situation like that, like a repressed memory where somebody was abused, or it doesn't matter what the form of abuse is, right? It is, number one, getting right with themselves, but there's also a way to get right with the other person without judgment, and being able to, and again, it can be from afar. It doesn't have to, you don't have to pick up the phone and go say, oh, hey, I want to hang out with you. Obviously, I don't encourage anybody hanging out with toxic people. But being able to put peace at that with that person, it's literally leaving your baggage behind. And that's one of the beautiful things about the twin flame journey, is that I think it exposes those things so that you can let that baggage go that you don't even know you're holding on to. Sometimes you don't even know it's there.
Exactly, because it's letting go of the fear, because fear is attachment. And so, if you don't even realize sometimes you're attached to all, trauma that happened in your past. Most people are. And most of the time it's subconscious, or, they're not even aware of it. So to bring it to light, and then to just know, hey, this happened, and try not to even judge it. I mean, it was awful. And, but yeah, you're right. And that's exactly right. It's all energy, and it's not about the other person. It's not about the abuser. It's about you. And
totally,
you're right, letting go of any attachment to, negative feelings about that other person.
Yeah. Hey, so I want to give a shout out. So we have been having some chat going on here. Nathan actually came from the other show, the Cannabis in Combat with Justin. So good to see you, Nathan. Thanks for joining us. I talk about a little bit more esoteric things than Justin does, but it looks like I'll probably be doing a show with him on Fridays now. So that's pretty cool. And then we also have Careful Carpenter, that he seems to know a lot about the twin flame relationship. Check this out, Elle. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know if I got him right, but something about because remember we were talking about how there can be a big age gap in the twin flames. If I'm reading this correctly, Careful Carpenter, maybe you can, if you're still around. My 2G grandfather was 43. My 2G grandmother was 16.
Wow.
So that's quite a gap. So I don't know if I'd like to know, are you saying that they were twin flames? Because he's going into the math and the pretty interesting stuff. So if he's still around there, yeah, I'd be interested to see what he's talking about.
Yeah. It's very common with twin flames to have some kind of physical characteristics of their relationship that would make or break other relationships, usually, like large age differences, like one or both are married to other people, like they're different religions where that would be a deterrent, or different races.
What about somebody who's vaxxed and not vaxxed? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen now?
I don't know.
I'm not touching them. Don't touch me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
Even same sex though, where neither have been gay before, that's pretty common as well. Or they live on opposite ends of the world, and they've never even met each other in person, but the energy is that strong where they can like see each other online in some chat room or something and totally
they know.
experience.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's awesome. That's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us again where they can find you, and your book is also on your website, right? Or they can go to Amazon.
Yeah, the book Twin Flames Exposed is on Amazon, or they can get it. All the books, everything we offer. We also have a bunch of a handful of informative videos, just basically explaining, the basics of twin flames and the twin flame journey on our website. It's bewithyourtwinflame.com.
Awesome. So check this out. So Careful Carpenter did respond. Yes, they were twin flames transcending time.
Wow.
I love that.
That is awesome.
That's super awesome. Woo. That's neat. So does anyone have any questions for us? Let's see if we have any questions pop up. Do you have any other parting thoughts? Because I do need to hop off of here pretty soon. So
I think a parting thought is, there's so many people on the twin flame journey that I don't think that I know are not aware of it. They just chalk it up to like maybe a toxic relationship or narcissists or, just wanting to get their ex back, like all of that kind of stuff. But I'm sure the majority of people are on a twin flame journey. So if anyone listening or watching is experiencing like difficulty getting over someone, moving on from someone, an ex or whatever, don't discount the fact that you are probably on a twin flame journey. It's a lot more common than you think.
Yeah. So actually, let's take a minute and talk about that, like the narcissistic part, because is it the other party's opinion, or is their other half truly narcissistic?
I think it's a label. Let's put it that way. First of all, narcissist is a label, just like, any codependent, they're labels. So, everyone has narcissistic traits. Anyone can act narcissistic in any given moment. Doesn't mean they're, like a malignant narcissist or anything, but
unless they're sticking puppies in a thing and.
Well, yeah, but that's socio. Oh, maybe I don't know. I'm not.
Well, that's only like,
I think that's sociopath.
But, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, I don't like people who hurt puppies, but no. But why I bring that up is because now look again, just looking at it from the physical, from our six senses, a lot of people see their twin flames, they think their twin flames are acting like narcissists. And it might look on the physical level like they're doing narcissistic type things. Like, for example, ghosting and leaving for no reason, or especially the ones in the dynamic where the twin flame comes back and forth. A lot of those people are like, my twin flame's a narcissist, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the twin flame doing it intentionally, right? From my understanding as narcissists, they have a plan. They're manipulative, they're trying to get something, and they're doing it on purpose, intentionally. The twin flames, neither twin flame is doing anything intentionally. It's all this push-pull energy that no one's even aware of that's going on. They don't know that's going on. Only the push usually finds it out when they come looking for help, right? But the pull never even has to know. But they're not doing anything on purpose to hurt anybody. They feel this energy telling them to pull away. Because they feel the push energy like suffocating them. And that's all they know. And they're not trying to like come and steal something from them or get something from them. They just want to get as far away as possible, just because of that energy feeling suffocated. So it's not the same thing as like the intention of a narcissist. They don't have that intention there, even though it might look like physically they're acting like a narcissist or whatever. A narcissist, there's a big range of how they act anyway. So, and again, we all have narcissistic traits. So,
Right.
Yeah. So, but no, twin flames are not narcissists. There's a.
So they can come to you to find out if it's something that they can do to balance themselves, right?
Yes, for sure. Oh, and I want to say one more thing about narcissists and any narcissists, let's just put it that way. Narcissists it's fear-based energy. It's the mental thing. It's fear, because fear controls the mind. And so all narcissists are just acting out of a fear. Actually, they fear, I think, their true identity or their true selves or something. So they're acting out of fear-based energy anyway. So if they were on a twin flame journey and they were balanced, their fears balanced out, they'd probably get over their narcissist. They probably end up being a lot better than they were.
Well, it's definitely a disconnection from love of themselves, right? Because that's for sure. So I think even somebody who's sometimes it's somebody that's been very, very traumatized at some point in their life, and they still may not be doing it intentionally, but they don't know any other way than to manipulate. And yeah, so that's a whole nother conversation though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's over my head. Yeah, but it can look like it on the surface that your twin flame's a narcissist, but that's not the case usually.
Yeah. All right. Well, I totally appreciate it. I'm so glad. And I actually would love to be able to ask more and talk more, but time frame is a little tight today. So maybe we'll connect again another time.
Sure, I would love that. That would be awesome.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Sending out love, right?
Yes, lots of love.